It was 1935 on Thailand's Koh Chang Island. The rainy season had settled in, bringing with it the heavy stench of rotting seaweed. Captain Somchai, an old fisherman, had been struggling for 3 years. His catch had dwindled, and worse, his only son had been arrested by the French colonial forces for smuggling spices. To free him, Somchai had no choice but to mortgage his fishing boat and take on a crushing debt. At dawn on July 13th, Somchai and 5 fishermen set sail on his boat, the Mahanakon, hoping for a good haul. But hidden in the cargo hold was something far more dangerous: military-grade depth charges smuggled from the Cambodian black market. That night, a storm unlike any other struck. The sea raged with monstrous waves, ready to swallow the boat whole. Thunder cracked the sky. The Christian crewman, Vensum, slashed his palm with a cross, praying for salvation. Meanwhile, the mixed-blooded teenager, Anan, huddled in a corner of the deck, burning a sacred Bayon talisman. Perhaps the prayers worked. A blinding lightning bolt struck the mast, and the storm gradually subsided. Then, the lookout spotted something glowing in the water. A massive, snake-like figure drifting in the waves. The crew moved in, hauling it aboard. It was an eel, a 9-meter-long monstrosity. A bronze ship snail, the kind used on 16th century Spanish galleons, was embedded in its skull. Its body was riddled with old wounds, some punctured by iron hooks, oozing a luminous blue mucus. As Sailor Narong touched the strange liquid, something eerie happened. His right eye briefly turned into a vertical slit, like a snake's pupil. But the moment passed so quickly that no one noticed. With such an extraordinary catch, the crew wasted no time heading back. But on the way home, Somchai heard something from the cold storage. A faint, scratching sound, like fingernails scraping against metal. Perhaps it was just his nerves. Back at the village, they were eager to sell the eel, but the village chief insisted on holding a ritual first. That's when things took a terrifying turn. Right in the middle of the ceremony, the eel's corpse exploded. Chunks of flesh and glowing blue slime splattered across the village square. The air was thick with an unbearable stench. Somchai, pushing past his fear, stepped forward. Inside the eel's burst-open stomach, he found an old bronze box engraved with Portuguese writing. When he pried it open, he discovered a parchment, a centuries-old manuscript detailing a ritual performed by 16th century missionaries. It described how 300 children, boys and girls, were sacrificed to seal away a sea demon, Payamat. The village shaman cut open the eel's heart, expecting blood, but instead outspilled a string of pearls, and inside each pearl was a human face. Narong, staring at the pearls, didn't blink. His right eye had dilated completely, turning his entire socket into a dark abyss. He whispered, over and over, "They want us to pay the interest." The next morning, the horror escalated. Every crew member who had touched the eel had grown gill-like slits behind their ears. Then came the rain. For 7 days straight, the storm didn't stop, and each day, one fisherman took his own life. Narong was the first. He drove a fishing spear through his throat and collapsed into the sea, sinking in a position of prayer. The last to die was young Anan. Before he slit his own wrists, he spoke of a vision, a dream of an underwater pyramid. Carved into its stone walls was the image of a chained mermaid, with snakes for hair.